morning, everybody. It is day 2 of our 4-day adventure. And it's a little cold this morning, I have to admit. We've been up for, I don't know, about almost 2 hours now. My dad's probably been up longer. And it was very cold this morning, especially in the tent. We may have to do some rearranging so we can put the heater in there to help kind of kill that chill in the morning. But we got the fire going again this morning to help warm us up, and we're in no rush. We're just going to take our time and just enjoy. We've had breakfast already, and honestly we're kind of waiting for the sun to crest over the ridge over there to help warm us up a little bit more. But it is absolutely beautiful out here. It is. The birds have been chirping. It's been super nice despite the cold, and we've just been hanging around the fire, enjoying it, relaxing. It's been a very good morning so far. But the plan for today is to finish Owl Pass, and then we'll probably head over to the next leg or section that we're going to be hitting and start doing that, and we'll see how long that goes, because the third section is the longest, so it might be good that we're kind of ahead of schedule, because then we can, accomplish those other areas. But we're going to start into that, and I'm also going to look up some other trails just in case we get done way earlier, because we're not going back early. We're just going to find more trails and have a good time with them. But that is the plan for today. But for right now, we're just going to chill, hang out, and I don't think we're really going to go anywhere until that sun crests over that ridge. Alright guys, we are all packed up, but first off, look at that lake. That's gorgeous. Oh my goodness. It's so pretty. There's some fish down in there. I can see them kind of coming up for air in a little bit. It's gorgeous. But we are all packed up and ready to get the day going. It is about 8 o'clock, just after 8. We took our time this morning. It was really nice, and as that sun came up, we warmed up, and oh my goodness, all new motivation, because we were really cold when we woke up. But we're going to continue down the trail and see what's in store. I suspect it's not going to take us all day, just like Old Monarch Pass didn't take us all day. So like I said, we're going to start into the third section and start that, because that's supposed to be a little bit more challenging. We'll see what happens. If we get all the way through today and into half of tomorrow's or a good part of it, then it happens, Though I had things planned out, we're getting through them a little bit quicker than we thought. And so there's trails everywhere. This is Colorado. There are trails everywhere. So I have lots of other alternatives I was looking up last night that we can do on top of everything that will still have us ending in Telluride at the end of the week on Friday. So everything is all good. But we're going to have a lot of fun today. And yeah, guys, we're going to get ourselves going here in just a second. I'm going to take in a few more minutes at this view, and then we're going to get ourselves on the road. Guys, we're on the move. We got ourselves all packed up and we're going. We're having some slight issues with things not working today, like the 12 or the 120 volt in the back of the Jeep for the rear seats isn't quite working. I think either the fuse popped or something, I'm not quite sure. but I can't find out which one it is because the fuse box cover doesn't really give much detail. No phone service. Also, Onyx Off-Road isn't working, which pisses me off to no end. This will probably be the last trip I use that stupid app because it just constantly stops working whenever it wants to. And this is, yeah, I'm fed up with it. So we'll see if that ever actually starts working again. But otherwise, it's beautiful outside. It is really nice and cool. It's only 52 out, feels a little warmer than that. And it is just gorgeous being in the forest in the morning. It has been an awesome morning so far. And so we're on an adventure. We have no maps at the moment, so we will see what happens. Owl Creek Pass was so beautiful in the morning. I cannot explain it to you guys just how gorgeous this part of the mountains were that morning. It was so nice. It was just a nice brisk temperature. It was so many pretty views. It was awesome. Now, Owl Creek Pass would be the easiest trail that we would do on our entire adventure. It's only rated at a 2. It's super easy. It was about 46 miles long, and it is gorgeous. If you guys are looking to get out with your family and just want to see a bunch of pretty views, go here because it was amazing, and it was nothing more than pretty much a Forest Service road the entire way, nothing technical whatsoever. And I just, once again guys, it was so pretty to watch the sunrise on all the mountains that still had snow on them, just being able to see some of the creeks that were rushing through because of it melting. Oh guys, it was, though it was such an easy trail, and I was a little, you know, bummed by it a little bit just because it really didn't take any time at all to do. I was so pleased that I got to wake up to those views next to that lake and then just drive along this path and see all the beauty it had to hold. You guys, check this out. Look at that view. Oh my goodness, it's so pretty. You can just see some of the little towns out down there. Oh my goodness. You gotta love the middle of nowhere in Colorado. It's beautiful, beautiful. Ah, gorgeous. So we're still continuing, guys. We pulled over for the view because it was pretty, but this is pretty much like a big old Forest Service road. That is what Owl Pass has pretty much been. Owl Creek Pass, that it's just been that. So we're okay with that because it is eventually going to lead us to Ridgeway, which we're going to stop in Ridgeway and kind of sort out some of our things because none of my map systems are working. I can't even get Gaia to pull up anymore either. So we'll see what happens, but it has been an absolutely fun time and a gorgeous drive. It's been very scenic, and we're gonna end up on section 3 today. So we will see what happens, but it has been an awesome day, guys. And that view, like, how can this upset anybody? This is gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous. We got everything working again. It just took a little bit. Maps, now we have signal and everything. They're up and working, so hopefully, cross our fingers, they stay working. And I got the outlet reset. It was as simple as unplugging and plugging it back in. The fuse is okay. But didn't know until we got in there. But everything's working, and we're heading to our third area, stage 3, if you will, of our journey. We're going to start tackling that because that should be more challenging, and we'll see where we get to. I have a feeling we may get pretty far on it, and if so, that's okay because there's so many other trails out here. But so far it's been good, and we're making good time with things. We're having a lot of fun.
Now, on the way to section 3, if you will, of our adventure, we did have to pass through the town of Ure, however you'd like to say it. And it is such a very cool, pretty town within the mountains. I mean, I've never been here before, and I was just blown away by how kind of majestic it sits with the mountains in the distance behind it. Oh my goodness, it is so pretty, and I can understand why it's, such a big ski town and things like that, and why it's such a massive traveler's destination in the summer. It was gorgeous, and the mountain road just behind the town that leads you out through the mountains, absolutely spectacular. Oh my goodness, I could not believe it. But it did lead us to our next trail, which was going to be the hardest trail that we would do on this adventure. And if you recognize the start of this, you guys know which trail it is.
Alright guys, this is section 3 for us. This is actually Engineer Pass. We're going to go up it. It's going to connect with Mineral Creek, and then we got a couple other trails. There's like 5 different trails that we are connecting that makes this big horseshoe for us that we're going to pop out. Some are completely different tomorrow, but this is going to be a lot of fun. This is supposed to be the most challenging area that we have so far, and it should be. It's rated out of 5, so we're going to have a lot of fun getting through here. So we're actually going to get ourselves started. We were waiting for some other people to come down. They've come down now, so it's our turn to start rocking and rolling. So let's go, guys.
Let me start by saying Engineer Pass has jumped into some of the top categories of trails for me. I absolutely loved this trail, from the beautiful views to the technical aspects as you climb. Oh my goodness, it was such a gorgeous adventure today on this trail that I just can't explain to you any further than it was gorgeous than showing you on the video itself, because it was so pretty. And the technical aspect, I know I said it, but it was so much fun. And then also to watch my dad tackle some of these technical areas. He has a whole different perspective of lines than I do, so watching him take his own lines without any input was really cool to see. Now, Engineer Pass is rated out of 5, guys. You don't need high clearance and massive tires to get up it, but like I said, there are technical areas of it, and you do have to choose your line just a little bit carefully. It's not super difficult whatsoever, and you don't need lockers at all to get up this trail. Maybe if it was, more at the very early part of the season where there was a lot more snow on the trail, then it's possible, but no. And you would climb to over 12,800 feet in elevation when you get to the top. And as we go along, guys, we will encounter a few challenges as we go, meet some really cool people, and just have an absolute fun time.
fun so far. We've maybe barely gotten up at any. It has been a lot of fun so far, and my dad's, you know, putting it to the test. It's the most technical trail he's done. But that view out the window once all these trees disappear is gorgeous. Oh my God, is it pretty? Look at that. I guess it's not probably gonna come up on the camera, but that's okay. But it is pretty. But yeah, and the view in front of us, guys, look at that. Wow. But this has been a lot of fun. It's nice getting into a little more of a technical trail. It makes us slow down, makes us think a little bit. And it's fun watching my dad get through it, because he thinks differently than I do when it comes to lines. So he's going to take his own lines, and we're gonna see how it goes. And I get shaken like a bobblehead. This is fun. This is a nice technical trail with a view. Like, it's gorgeous out here, guys. Absolutely gorgeous. And I love these rocks. These rocks are so much fun. Guys, we have got a rescue situation going. Not me, thank God. But we do have a Tacoma back there who is on the very edge, turtled, and his back end is hanging off and his front end is barely hanging on. So we are anchored to a tree there, and they are anchored onto us, and there is another truck that's anchored onto the back of them. So we're gonna help try and rescue this Tacoma and see how it goes. Hey, y'all on a trail, you always gotta help other people. Remember that, guys. Alright guys, so there's the Tacoma that's stuck. The big Dodge is anchoring to it, and they're anchored up to us. So we're gonna try and slowly bring them up.
So let's talk about this situation, shall we? This situation looks kinda bad, and if I'm being realistic and honest with y'all, it was bad. Now, how he is at the moment isn't terrible. He is turtled. He does have both driver's side tires on the ground, and the backs are, his back rear tire is dangling and his front tire is still touching ground. Now, this situation, in the hands of everybody that was involved, was manageable. But if none of us would have come across this guy, he would not have been able to rescue himself. And the reason I say that is he was just super inexperienced. This was the first time he had actually been off-roading. Like, you look at his Tacoma and you think, wow, it's really built out, and he's got it all. That's all it was built out. It was legitly a mall crawler until this trip that he was taking here in Colorado. And what kind of made this situation irritating was that we were trying to help him and he was being stubborn. You know, being new to off-roading, he was very much scared, which is understandable, and he kept worrying about his rig falling. Now, as you can tell, the Jeep's anchored, he's anchored to me, and we have a big, huge Dodge 2500 heavy duty anchored to him in the rear. Now, unfortunately, the Dodge did not have a winch. That is one thing I'm going to say about this situation also, is that all these people did not have recovery gear. The guy with the Tacoma, he did have a winch, but all his other recovery gear was inaccessible because he had it tucked up in the very front of the bed against, butting up against the cab, and he couldn't get to it without pulling everything out of his truck. And his max tracks were on top, and he was too afraid to get up and get them. And the big truck had zero recovery gear other than this tow strap, and they're on engineer pass. So it was very frustrating because it was up to us to basically use our recovery gear. And as you can see, as he's coming forward, he's slowly inching his way forward, and he's giving it very little throttle. And as he's coming forward, he is pulling the Jeep back. Like, I wasn't afraid of the Jeep getting pulled at it, as he was trying to winch himself up, because I anchored myself to a tree. But the situation he was in, he couldn't anchor himself or hook his winch up to any tree. He had to hook it up to me. There was zero trees in the vicinity other than the ones off to his passenger side. And as this unfolded, more and more people did start to show up because, we're blocking one of the only ways up Engineer Pass besides the backside. And we had people starting to come down, and I'm blocking the middle of the trail with the Jeep and a winch line because we're trying to fix this whole situation. And it just became a very frustrating situation because we knew what had to be done. And honestly, what made it frustrating was the owner of the Tacoma was just being very afraid and was not willing to understand that he was going to take some body damage to his truck no matter what. It was either body damage or lose the rig, and he couldn't grasp with those consequences, and he was just constantly in a panic. And so it was a game of some of them were trying to calm him down while the rest of us were sitting here going, well, this is what needs to be done, and he's getting in the way. So right here you'll see my dad and one of the other gentlemen that was helping. They're digging out some of the rocks. So under his passenger side tire, as he had been pulled forward, it got caught up on a big root in a rock. And so they were trying to clear it, and then here in a second I'm going to appear on screen with my traction boards, and they are going to wedge him under his front tires, because at this point we couldn't keep trying to pull him forward without assistance, because if you can see his driver's side rear tire, it's at an angle, and at the moment the big truck has a ton of tension on the back of his Tacoma, because as we were pulling him forward, the rocks were just giving way underneath his tires because of the angle we had to pull him at. And if the truck was to let up any on tension, it would have snapped his driver's side rear tire, because it was basically supporting all the weight of the back of the truck, because his passenger rear tire was just freely in the air. It was just spinning. It was not touching anything. And so we placed the traction boards underneath his truck in the hopes that this would work. But then the next snag came, And once again, it involved the owner of the Tacoma. He was very much afraid. And at this point, every single one of the gentlemen you see in here, minus the dude next to the cowboy hat with his hands on his hips, who is the owner of the rig, all knew that he needed to get inside of it and throttle. He needed to assist the winch. At this point, the winch wasn't going to help anymore. He needed to help give it throttle and pull it up. And I kid you not, and I'm not saying this to embarrass anybody, I'm just trying to prove a point. I kid you not, this guy straight up refused to get in his truck to give it throttle. He was dead scared of getting in his vehicle, thinking it was going to roll, though he had complete tension on the front and back, and the truck wasn't it wasn't budging anywhere. Because if we tried giving up tension on the Jeep just a little bit, and the truck started to slide, and we instantly put the tension there. So he wasn't going to go anywhere, and he straight up refused to get in his vehicle. Ladies and gentlemen, you cannot refuse to help yourself get in your vehicle and try and rescue your rig. At that point, you might as well just cut the winch line loose and let your rig roll down the hill. Like, we were all frustrated. There were 8 guys there trying to help him, and we were all so frustrated because he refused to do what needed to be done to save his rig. Now, in the end, we did recover his rig, and unfortunately, I didn't catch that on camera. I was filming it, and I didn't realize that, this whole thing took about an hour, just over an hour and 15 minutes, something like that, to recover him. And, I had the camera just rolling, and I ended up, the battery went dead, unfortunately. And because all the vehicles were on, I didn't hear the camera beeping. So unfortunately, I didn't get to, capture the moment of the rig being saved. But in the end, I helped rescue the rig. I took the keys from the gentleman, and with my dad on the brakes of the Jeep to help, just anchor it down more, with the guy in the Dodge, providing the tension. I had the, controller for the winch. I was on the throttle, and I had one guy holding open the door in the, driver's side door. In the off chance that this rolled, I didn't think it would. But in the off chance that it attempted to go, I could jump out real easily. And I had a person in the front telling me, what the tires were doing, because I don't know what the tires were doing, completely. I was throttling down. I could feel movement, but I couldn't see the passenger side. I couldn't tell you what the driver's side looked like or the rear looked like, because I had a guy in the back telling me, because I was so unfamiliar with this rig. I've driven Tacomas, but when you jump in someone else's rig, if you haven't driven it before and all of a sudden you have to rescue it, you just don't know. It's all a kind of foreign. You just know steering wheel, throttle, winch, winch controller, go. And after probably about 7-10 minutes of just slow throttle and bringing in the winch, I was able to get the Tacoma up and out of the situation. But I have to tell you, it frustrates me when you want to come out here, you want to do these things, but you're not willing to rescue your own rig. Guys, you have to be able to understand the consequences. Yes, his driver or his passenger side mirror snapped and he got a dent in his front fender, but it was a small price to pay for him to have his whole rig. So guys, you have to be willing to rescue your rig when the situation calls for it. I had to rescue my own Jeep back, a couple of ventures ago when I got in a sticky situation. I had, slowed down, thought clearly, I rescued my rig, and it was almost a similar situation, except for the cliff that, the little ledge I was on was not as steep as Engineer Pass, but I was able to help rescue myself. And in this situation, he had 8 people, and he was the constant irritation that slowed us down. But the good news is it was rescued, and we were able to continue on with our adventure. Well, as y'all can see there in the mirror, the Tacoma is up. I am gonna toot my own horn. I got that damn thing up. The driver was very much scared of being on the side, which, I don't blame him, but I am glad to say I got it up. This is beautiful up here, guys. Oh my goodness. We've been cruising. We've been trying to, you know, just make up some ground, one, but two, kind of put some distance between us and everyone else, because there was, you know, there's 5 rigs, all different parties. No one was together coming up, so just trying to put some distance and things like that between us and everyone else, so that there's not any more kind of jams on the trail. But it is absolutely gorgeous. We have finally kind of crested off of the shelf road of Engineer Pass, and now we're just kind of up here in the little meadow area, and it is amazing, guys. I now understand why people love coming up to Engineer Pass. It is absolutely gorgeous up here. So pretty, so pretty. And with the snow still on parts of the mountains, it's awesome, absolutely awesome. It does make the rocks really slick though, because your tires just get wet enough and then you touch those rocks and it's like, whoop, you're sliding off. But it is awesome, guys. But we're gonna keep going a little bit. We may stop for lunch. Otherwise, if we can find an area where we can just pull off and not be on the trail for a little bit, we might just take a break. Just let the Jeep relax after going through all that lovely recovery and stuff. Otherwise, we're gonna keep pressing on. The goal is to get to some of the areas I have marked for camp, because it is almost 1 o'clock. So the goal is to hopefully get to camp a little earlier today than yesterday, but we will see. Check out that view, guys. Oh my God, is it gorgeous up here. It is so beautiful. We are still on Engineer Pass. We are actually getting close to the very top of Engineer Pass. If I turn you this way, there's the Jeep. And we'll be going up that way. That is kind of the top part of Engineer Pass. We are almost there. We stopped, wanted to take a break because we were getting a little hungry, so we had some snacks. 2, we needed to put all the recovery gear away after helping the Tacoma get out of its predicament. And also, we're just kind of letting all the vehicles go by. There are a lot of people out here and they're all just kind of going and going, so we're just letting them kind of scoot on by, because we're in no rush, we're in no hurry. But it is gorgeous out here, guys. Oh my goodness, it is so pretty. But I wanted to take a second to remind you guys to pay attention to what you're doing on the trail, especially trails like this, and to don't go outside of your boundaries and your comfort zone if you're not, you know, if you don't know your rig. That Tacoma got really stuck because he wasn't paying attention. He wasn't paying attention to what he was doing. He didn't seem like he was, you know, he seems very new to all this off-roading, and he wasn't aired down. He didn't have everything going. All his recovery gear was somewhere he had no access to. He couldn't get access to it because it was all shoved in on the other side in the back of the truck, somewhere where he, you know, didn't want to get to it because the truck was teetering on the edge like that. The importance of having your recovery gear readily available, guys. You got to have that, and just know where your limits are. Don't go on trails that you can't handle. Engineer Pass is rated at a 5. I know I can go on a 6 rated trail with my Jeep comfortably without having issue. I don't go higher than that unless I'm with other people, and then even then the Jeep will struggle more. But just know your comfort level, and, you know, stick to what you know. If you want to try pushing yourself, great, but pay attention. Don't take your eyes off the trails to look at the pretty view. If you want to do that, stop and then look. Don't get distracted in your rig, guys, because then you end up in predicaments like that Toyota was, and then you're stuck, and you better hope that people come along. He chose a great trail to get stuck on because there were tons of us. But yeah, have your recovery gear readily available somewhere you can get it. Sorry, there's other people on the radio. But have it readily available and pay attention, guys. It's so easy to not get stuck, and it takes no effort to get stuck, so don't get stuck. But enough about that. No more harping on that. I'm not here to harp on you on that. I'm here to bring you guys along on our adventure to show you cool crap like this. Yeah, check that view out.
Show the guy stuck in the 4x or in the side by side.
at this view, guys. Oh my God, is it pretty? Look at all that. Absolutely gorgeous. And what my dad's talking about, damn thing. And what my dad's talking about is right back up in there, right up in there. There's actually a side-by-side stuck. We don't know what trail he's on. It's one of the little bypass, side trails that you can reconnect with Engineer Pass. But yeah, they're stuck. We can hear him trying to get out. We have no idea if he's got other people. We can't get access to him because the Jeep won't get up there, and that's at least 400 meters away. I guess he should have been wiser. Yeah. I'm not trying to get into everybody. Do the smart thing and know where you're able to go, but do the smart thing. Know where you're able to go. My goodness, I'm gonna have to start charging people for recovery fees. It's the fourth time I've broken out the winch. Third time I've had to recover someone else. But that's okay. We're gonna get going here soon, guys. Alright guys, we're at the top of Engineer Pass. Look at that view. It is gorgeous. And then, boom, absolutely stunning. It is beautiful up here, guys. Absolutely beautiful. I cannot believe it. It is awesome. I've had to see other people do this for so long. I am so glad that I get to do this myself. And yes, I know it's windy, but we're almost 13,000 feet up, and that is a hell of a view. I absolutely love it up here, guys. But we're gonna start making our way back down here soon.
Always they need a new replacement. Decentralized, can't contain call at night keeps you up at night, yeah. Make all the demons quiet, yeah. We were built to thrive, yeah. I think that we've all had enough. I think that we've all had enough. Sick of dealing with the old plan. They know that we're calling it wrong. You got me like, hey, I think that we've all had enough. Sick of dealing with the old plan. They know that we're calling it wrong. Hey, it's too late to try to go contain it. A generation fueled by creation. We live lives on a small screen nation. We control the airwaves, no negotiation. I refuse to think we need saving. Something good will come from creation. And when we think that the world is too anxious, we'll adapt, evolve, survive, and save it. What keeps you up at night, yeah. Make all the demons quiet, yeah. We were built to thrive, yeah. I think that we've all had enough. Keeps you up at night, yeah. Make all the demons quiet, yeah. We were built to thrive, yeah. I think that we've all had enough. Yeah, I think that we've all had enough. Sick of dealing with the old plan. They know that we're calling it wrong. You got me like, oh, yeah, I think that we've all had enough. Sick of dealing with the old plan. They know that we're calling it wrong. Hey, oh, yeah, I think that we've all had enough. Sick of dealing with the old plan. They know that we're calling it wrong. You got me like, oh, yeah, I think that we've all had enough. Sick of dealing with the old plan. They know that we're calling it wrong.
We have finished Engineer Pass, went through the little town of Lakeview, I think is what it was called, or Lakeport 1 and 2, I don't remember. And now we are on Cinnamon Pass, and at the moment, this is like a very much a county road. We have an RV in front of us, a pretty lake to one side, which is really nice to look at. But we're in search for camp, so I'm hoping once we get way further back in there, we'll eventually hit the actual area of Cinnamon Pass and be able to find camp for the night and just kind of get away from people. We've been around people a lot today. So ever since we had to help that Tacoma out, since then we just kept running into people left and right. We just kept finding them, waiting for them. It didn't matter. It's just there's a lot of people out here right now. So my hope is that we can find a nice secluded camp area away from everybody like we did last night, because that would be awesome. But we're still having a good old time, and this is a very pretty lake with some wonderful scenery, and we're just going to keep trekking along this road, guys, until we get to where it actually becomes more of a trail and not a county road.
Well, guys, we have found camp. This is actually one of the spots I marked off, and it's pretty cool, I have to admit. I think it's a little better than yesterday's. So, we had to come in, the Jeep's pointed right there, up this path, and it got really narrow, really dense in the forest. It's great. We don't have anything set up yet. We were collecting firewood. Tent will go here, but here's the cool part about this camp. Check this out, guys. Literally, this is right here off of our camp. So I'm hoping that will be some great white noise and help us sleep tonight. But yeah, that's right there, guys. Camp's here. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna set up camp, get it all ready to go, and then we're just gonna kind of hang out. We'll probably make dinner a little earlier just because last night it was so much later. And we're gonna enjoy a fire and keep all the bugs away, and yeah, just kind of hang out, guys. Today was a lot of fun, except for we're really tired from today. You know, going over Engineer Pass, we accomplished what we wanted to, so we had that feeling of accomplishment helping that person out for over an hour. Yeah, we're ready to hang out and just chill for the day. So this is what we're gonna do, because I would say an epic campsite here in the woods.